Are you tired, Leafs Nation? Tired of the same old story? The same old heartbreak when the playoffs roll around? Do you feel that familiar sting of disappointment, knowing your team has all the talent in the world, but somehow, when the chips are down, they just don't have that edge? That visceral, undeniable grit that separates contenders from champions? Well, if you're nodding along, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into a rumor that could finally inject that missing ingredient into the Toronto Maple Leafs lineup. We're talking about potential seismic shift, a move that could redefine their identity and, dare I say, their destiny. For years, the narrative has been painfully consistent. The Toronto Maple Leafs of the 2020s are a dazzling display of offensive firepower. They boast a roster brimming with elite skill, capable of lighting up the scoreboard on any given night. Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, John Tavares. These are names that strike fear into the hearts of opposing goalies. But when the calendar flips to April and the intensity of playoff hockey ratchets up, the script often remains unchanged. The beautiful passing plays, the highlight reel goals, they sometimes fade into background, overshadowed by a glaring deficiency, a lack of genuine, unadulterated sandpaper. We've seen it time and again. When the game gets tight, when the ice shrinks, and when every inch of real estate is contested with ferocity that borders on primal, scoring alone simply isn't enough. You need players who embrace the physical battle, who are willing to go into the dirty areas, who will stand up for their teammates, and who can intimidate opponents with their sheer presence. These are the sandpaper intangibles, the qualities that don't always show up on the score sheet, but are absolutely indispensable for playoff success. Without them, even the most talented rosters can be pushed around, outmuscled, and ultimately out of contention. It's a bitter pill to swallow for a fan base as passionate and long-suffering as Toronto's. But what if there was a solution? A 6'4", 240-pound force of nature, a defensive enforcer who could not only shore up the blue line, but also fundamentally alter the psychological landscape of a playoff series? Enter Arber Xhekaj. Jeff Hanna over at NHL Trade Rumor has dropped a bombshell, linking Toronto to this tough Montreal Canadiens defenseman. Now, I know what you're thinking. A trade with the Habs? Their arch rivals? It sounds audacious, almost unthinkable. But in the cutthroat world of professional hockey, when a championship window is open, no stone can be left unturned and no potential advantage can be ignored. Xhekaj is not just a defenseman, he's an experience. He is, without exaggeration, one of the most feared players in the entire National Hockey League. This isn't just about throwing a few hits. It's about a player who possesses that rare, innate dog in him. He plays with an intensity and a physicality that commands respect and often instills a healthy dose of fear. Any smart opposing forward knows that when Xhekaj is on the ice, they need to keep their head up at all times. He's a human wrecking ball, a deterrent, and protector all rolled into one imposing package. So, what exactly would Xhekaj provide the Leafs? Well, it's a classic two birds with one stone scenario. First and foremost, he immediately bolsters their defensive depth. While the Leafs have some talented blue liners, adding a player of Xhekaj's stature and physical style provides a different dimension, a much-needed layer of truculence that can wear down opponents over a 7-game series. He's not just a big body. He's a player who makes life miserable for opposing forwards trying to establish a presence in front of the net or along the boards. But perhaps even more crucially, he would finally give them that toughness they've been so desperately lacking down the stretch and into the playoffs. Imagine the psychological impact. No longer would opposing teams feel they can take liberties with Toronto's skilled forwards. No longer would they feel comfortable crashing the net without consequence. Xhekaj changes the equation. He provides that vital element of retribution, ensuring that every cheap shot, every questionable hit, is met with an immediate and forceful response. This isn't just about fighting. It's about establishing a physical presence that makes opponents think twice, creating more space and protection for Toronto's offensive stars to work their magic. It's about instilling a sense of security and confidence within the Leafs' own locker room, knowing that someone always has their back. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the cost. Acquiring a player of Xhekaj's unique skill set, especially from a divisional rival like the Montreal Canadiens, would not come cheap. The Habs are not in the business of doing favors for the Maple Leafs. To pry their prize goon and I use that term with the utmost respect for his role. Away from them, Toronto would undoubtedly have to pay a premium. We're talking about a significant package of assets, likely involving promising prospects and high draft picks. But here's the critical point, Leafs Nation. The championship window for this current iteration of the Toronto Maple Leafs is open right now. It won't be ajar forever. The core is in their prime, and the time to make aggressive, impactful moves is now. You can't be timid when greatness is within reach. General Manager Brad Treliving knows this. The organization knows this. Sometimes you have to push all your chips to the center of the table and seize the moment. As for the Canadians, while Xhekaj is a fan favorite and a valuable asset, they do have enough depth and prospects in their arsenal that they would at least consider moving him for the right, overwhelming return. They are in a different stage of their rebuild, and a haul of future assets could be very appealing. This isn't just a trade, it's a statement. It's a declaration that the Maple Leafs are serious about ending the drought. The speculation will continue, and the rumors will swirl. But one thing is clear. If the Toronto Maple Leafs are truly committed to achieving greater playoff success in 2026 and beyond, they need to address this fundamental need for grit and physicality. Arber Xhekaj represents a tantalizing, albeit challenging, solution. He's a player who can not only fill a roster spot, but fundamentally alter the team's identity and their chances of finally lifting that coveted Stanley Cup. We'll be watching closely to see how the Leafs attempt to load up and whether they're willing to make the bold moves necessary to transform their playoff fortunes. What do you think, Leafs Nation? Is Arber Xhekaj the missing piece of the puzzle? Would you be willing to pay the price to bring that kind of physicality to Toronto? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive insightful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for all the latest exclusive news and analysis. Your engagement fuels our passion for bringing you the stories that matter most.